Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another episode of the Day After Show. This is the live show where we go through everything surrounding Chelsea the day after each game. And we've come off of a win. It is a win, whatever you want to call it. I know some people are embarrassed by it, and you can justify it in a number of ways in terms of the performance and the fact that we almost lost that game, or we could have easily lost it on penalties. Not to mention the red card, and just the fact that it's a Wolves team as well. We haven't actually beaten a Premier League side. I'm here with Scott. How we doing, mate?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Feel a lot better than I did last night. After the game, I was just annoyed. Like it was one of those results where, like, even though there obviously was positives, which I'm sure we'll touch on, they were just they seemed overshadowed by everything, or by
Right.
like the manner of that second half. But doing the show today, as opposed to yesterday, just means I've kind of calmed down. I can kind of see things more clearly, and have a bit more clarity on things. Which is good. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about with that game. I mean, for the neutrals, it was probably a fantastic game to watch.
Yes.
But for us, probably not so much.
What was your like feeling throughout? Because I'll be honest with you, mate. The first half, I went down after Esteval scored his goal with 3-0 up. I was chatting with everyone in the concourse. I was like, this is easy. We're chilling. We're fine. We're absolutely fine. I'll have another beer. Yeah, go on then. Analyze the game. What do you mean analyze the game? We're fucking winning 3-0. And when you look back at it, there's actually quite a lot to break down, because you go, well, how can you go from being 3-0 up and looking so comfortable and not even really breaking a sweat, not conceding any genuine chance? I think they had one chance or something like that. To clinging on right till the end and basically praying for the referee to blow his whistle. How does that happen? I mean, there's a tale of two halves, and then there's that.
The simple answer is our defense. The more complicated answer is just there are so many things wrong with our team at the moment, in certain areas, as to why you capitulate like that. But yeah, I think on the first half, I agree. I was the same as you. I was buzzing. Was ready to jump on, every stream, talking about the positives, talking about how good Gittens was, how good Santos was, how good we looked as a team. Esteval cooking again, Lavia looking back to his, well, I say back to his best, like he that's how he plays normally, but looking like he can at least sustain himself for a good 60 minutes, whatever it was he played in the end, 60 something minutes. Defense was holding up, which, wow, it's amazing to say that for once in the first half.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
and
didn't
then
have much to hold up. That's the thing, though, isn't it?
no, they didn't. But at least it was 3-0. We see against obviously Forest. I know they didn't score, but we were so bad in that first half, and a lot of it was us giving the ball away to them. We didn't really do that in the first half against Wolves. Was nice to see. But then, yeah, second half, you get an immediate like punch in the mouth with that goal. What was it? 3 minutes in, I think, or 4 minutes in, something like that.
Basically, yeah, straight away.
Yeah, but even then, I was like, okay, we've conceded, but that's one of those goals that just happens. That can happen to anyone. We're still in the driver's seat. And the second goal goes in, you're starting to worry. And then we get that screamer from Gittens. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not happy with how this second half has gone, but a 4-2 win is good. We got to see a screamer. We got to see good performances. I'm happy. And then immediately we concede again. And then at that point, I'm just wanting the match to end, because I'm just annoyed with what I've seen from that second half. And like I said, it's unfortunate that so much of that second half overshadowed large parts of that first half, because we were I know it's Wolves and they do suck, and they've only won 2 games all season, and it was against West Ham and Everton, and that was both in the cup. But you still have to beat who's in front of you. We played really well. But yeah, that second half, man, just that kind of sums up our season, unfortunately, in the negative sense. That in like perfectly encapsulates every single thing that's gone wrong for us. None of it, pretty much none of it. Like when I say gone wrong, not a stuff is happening to us in a we're just cursed. It's we're causing ourselves sort of thing. Yeah, just completely self-inflicted. Basically, every single goal we conceded was self-inflicted, and the red card.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against that. I mean, I give credit to Wolves in a sense, because obviously the manager's had a team talk and he's obviously said some words and they were up for it. They were really up for it. Like, if I was a Wolves fan, I know it sounds a bit patronizing because obviously I've just come out and we've won the game. But you have to have a bit of pride in the fact that your team, I mean, they fought 110% tooth and nail, but they just lack quality. They lack quality. And that's where we beat this Wolves team. It wasn't desire. It wasn't being tactically better than them. Although in the first half, maybe you could certainly make that case, but we made life harder for ourselves, not better. I want to go through a couple of comments as well. Big up to Stephen. I hope you are doing very well. Another day, another shit performance, another red card, another Maresca waffling nonsense in excuses again. This is CFC London. Big up to Pierre as well. Jordan, good to see you, mate. He says the lap red card was embarrassing and a disgrace. What was he thinking? He thinks he's in MMA, lol. Woodshedder says, cheers, Alex and Scott. Yay, another win with 10 men. Looks like there is improvement after all. I mean, you're not wrong, Woodshedder. At least we won. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's what Scott's saying, though, as well, when he talks about, or when you talk about the second half, summing up our season, it's that even though we got the win, it's still underwhelming. It's still not convincing. It still doesn't fill you with confidence. And that's all great because people say this all the time. They go, I don't care how we win, just that we win the game. And I think people are a little bit hypocritical in one sense because you say that and then you complain when you don't like the style of play. But you can't deny what you're seeing. The eye test it's real for a reason. That's why data and all these things can only get you so far. Because if what you're seeing doesn't look good, if it's not attractive, if it doesn't fill you with confidence, then there's usually a reason for that.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like the hot confidence builds, and so you put in performances where you can constantly kind of impose yourself on teams, and that can build over time, and you can almost snowball. I mean, you look at Arsenal this season, what they've done. They've managed to, because of the work they've done, and obviously, yes, a lot of it comes from set pieces, but at the end of the day, if they find something that works for themselves, it's working for them. I wish we could just defend set pieces, would be nice. And then we could maybe think about, using set pieces as our own, considering we've actually got a set piece coach that's meant to be good. Don't actually know what he does.
It's mad though, because we score goals from set pieces. This is the thing, Scott. We were able to score goals, so why aren't we able to defend?
I feel like that's dropped this season in terms of, I don't think we're scoring as many this season.
You say that, Scott. I mean, earlier in the season, we were scoring quite a few, mate. I remember West Ham. I mean, there's been a fair few amount of set piece goals. I think we have to give credit where credit's due.
The West Ham ones, I put at least one of those.
Forest as well, set pieces.
What was the Forest? I know obviously we got the free kick. When I say set piece, I mean more corners. Let's say corners. I don't think we score enough of. But then, I
think that's harsh, mate. I think that's harsh.
I don't think we score enough. I don't. At this point, we need to just defend them more than attack them, more than anything. But yeah,
let's know in the chat, how many set pieces have we scored in comparison to everyone else, or we can be specific to corners. I don't know, but I don't think set pieces.
If we are, then that's insane. I don't know how we can attack set piece, then I can't defend them because, surely they're similar in terms of, obviously there's way more to it. I'm simplifying it, but at the end of the day, part of it just is you need to jump above the player you're attacking / defending to head the ball in the goal / away from goal. In a real dumbed down, simple sense, and obviously it is more complicated than that. Like I said, I'm simplifying it a lot. That is essentially what it is, and just we seem incapable of being able to do that. It's particularly with long throws, and at some point you do have to just like wonder what's going on because we keep conceding the same goal in terms of the set piece. Like it's a flick on, it's losing the first header, number one, whether it's, four guys trying to head the ball against Brentford, whether it's Achampong missing it against, who did we just play? Sunderland. And then whoever it was missing it, I think it might have been Tosin or Santos missing it against in Wolves yesterday.
Are you talking about the long throw that they?
Yeah,
that they...
yeah. So we missed the first header. Whoever it is that missed the first header, that's not the end of the world though, because
the first header was Santos.
It was Santos. Okay. So you missed the first header, not the end of the world. The second issue is then for every single set piece goal in terms of long throws we've conceded, an attacker, whether it's Garnacho, Neto, or Bounanotte in the instance yesterday, is not tracking their man, and that man either scores in the case of Brentford or in the case of Sunderland and Wolves yesterday, they get the assist. So
it's Bounanotte for the
Bounanotte yesterday. It was Garnacho and Neto against Sunderland, and it was Garnacho against Brentford as well.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So
and then Delap was on the last man, and he lost that.
Yeah, Delap was the last one as well. But yes, we're conceding the same set piece goal, and that's where I have a bit of an annoyance to Quaver in terms of you can concede set pieces, it happens a lot. In terms of, say you concede a set piece where it's just a really well taken routine, like they've practiced it a lot in training, it's just a well taken routine. Or you can have it where, okay, maybe like I said, you lose the first header, it comes to a guy on the edge of the box and there's just smash it top bins. You can't do anything about that. That's just that happens. When you're conceding the same type of goal in multiple games, at some point you have to go, maybe we should work on this, and maybe we should be more, what's the word I'm looking for? Demanding, potentially, of whoever's marking on the edge of the box to actually mark their man. Because like I said, 3 different times it's happened. That's not a coincidence. Something's not going right for you to have to concede the same type of goal 3 times.
Yeah. It's interesting because set pieces haven't really come up that much this season in terms of like a big problem for us. But long throw-ins in particular, that is an area that, to be honest with you, Scott, I rate long throws. I like watching them. I think they actually bring a bit of what's the word, of an old school feel back into the game of football, which I think we need. I think we've lost that on corners. Everyone goes short on every corner kick, and it gives other teams that don't necessarily have that technical ability the opportunity to get the ball in the box and just win your duels, and then you'll get a chance. I mean, there's always something that comes off the end of a long throw if you don't defend it properly, and that's one of the things I like about it. But Maresca's come out and said obviously he's not interested in long throws, and I say fair play to you, like no problem. But I guess the case that we're making here is, if you're not going to take them, learn how to defend them at least.
Yeah, and it's the same, because I'm with you. I hate this idea of like when a team does a long, like Brentford, they've utilized long throws, or a team utilizes low blocks or whatever, and you get players and managers and fans just complaining about it and just like, oh, it's boring, like this is it's a boring watch or whatever, or it's such an unintelligent way of playing or whatever. It's like, no, that's what they're using to help them win. Like, I'm using Brentford as an example because I used this the other day. I think I used this yesterday. Everyone expected Brentford to go down the season. They'd lost their coach, they'd lost their best player, and their starting striker has just come off an ACL injury where he missed the entirety of last season. Not one most fans, I won't say all, most fans thought they get relegated, especially considering they've got a first-time manager. So what have they done? They've used what their manager, who happened to be the set-piece coach last season, was good at, which was set pieces in the long throws, to help them win games. That's something they need to do to win points and to get points and to win games, to stay in this league. So good on them. It's up to us as a team and other teams to learn how to defend it. If you can't defend it, that's a you problem. That's not a them problem for using what works for them. It's the same with low blocks. If a team works by low blocking and counter attacking, it's down to you as a team to break them down. If you can't break them down, that's a you issue. That's you not being good at your job as a manager, players, etc. If you don't know how to break down a team that's sitting in a low block,
Are there
City
other
managed it.
teams
That's why they won a league title.
Yeah, I mean, are there other teams that specifically struggle with long throws? I mean, that's one thing that we're looking at, and we're saying we can't defend long throw. I mean, are there other teams that are having this issue, guys?
Maybe, but I think part of it is we don't watch games. There might be other teams that are, but we just don't watch. We just don't watch other teams' games enough, I think. But yeah, this is something that teams utilize. Brentford, I think, are first, and Sunderland, who we played at the weekend, are second in terms of long throws because they have a guy, or maybe two actually. I think I don't know how many Brentford have, probably one or two, but I know Sunderland have got one guy who can utilize it. So if you've got someone to utilize it, utilize it. It's the same way of like those corners that Arsenal were doing, I think, or was it Arsenal or someone else where they're trying to hit the first man to get the flick on and it's working. Good for them. Like I'll banter Arsenal fans that the fact they can't score open play goals and all they can score is corners and they're just a zesty Stoke. But in reality, that way of playing means they're top of the league and they're 4 points clear.
I mean, yeah, it's not pretty, but they're getting the job done.
It's not, but I'm gonna be honest. If my team was 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League, scoring goals like that and winning most games, I wouldn't give a shit.
You wouldn't care.
No, it only matters if that it will only matter at the end of the season if Arsenal don't win the league. If they win the league playing that way, not a single fan will care. No one cares.
The thing is, as well, is like people, and I get it because I was kind of in this camp last season, having personally not been like a big, huge critic of Poch. I mean, I personally quite enjoyed like the season. I was entertained. Let's just put it like that. And then Maresca come in and we were playing slow football at times, especially in the second half of the season. I was like, really? Ugh. And when you go from one thing to another, it's very easy to say, oh, this is a lot better or this is a lot worse. But if we're looking at Chelsea as a heritage, we are not playing nice football. We're not that team. We are not tiki-taka FC. We are not possession-based FC. We've become that in recent years, fair enough, but like that's not the heritage of who we are. So my thing has always been this, Scott, and this is also a reason I think that in the past we've accepted some of the styles of play that we have is because we've won titles. And that stance stays true even today. And that is that if we are winning trophies, I don't care if that's a Carabao, I don't care if it's a Prem. A trophy's a trophy, although there are bigger trophies than others. But if we're winning trophies, then all of those games where you are a bit bored, I mean, there's not really another way to put it, but you're still able to get results over the line, you can justify it. Now, if we're playing attractive football and not winning trophies, obviously I want to win, but at least I can still say I'm enjoying the football. I'm entertained. There doesn't seem to be much of a middle ground, and it's very much one side or the other.
I agree, but I also like some of that. I think is what the Prem has become because, like I said, it does become hard to play attractive football a lot of the time when you have teams sitting low blocks, and that's their prerogative. Like I said, I don't blame them for that. So it can be hard unless you have the quality of players to utilize that system, like City did. We're trying to play a style of play that I think I can see the vision to an extent, but we're trying to utilize that style of play in the league with players like Garnacho and Neto who are not suited to that style of play or who just don't have the quality at this point. We're trying to utilize that style of play with centre backs like Chalobah, Tosin, just not capable. Again, not got the quality. I don't think that's an issue with they don't understand the style of play. It's just they can't play it because of quality. Same last night with Jorgensen, Gusto, another one. Even though actually he was pretty decent last night until he came off. So yeah, I think that's where you get the kind of where you were at last season of it's not the most fun to watch, but it's because, like, for example, if you, and I know this is easy to say, but if we'd rocked up last season with a back four of, let's say, Cucurella, Thiago Silva, Rudiger, and Reece James, I think it looks a lot better in terms of the build up and how we built up. You look at our attack, if we're attacking with players like Hazard, not even Hazards, but like I'm trying to think of others. Your Bernardo Silvas of the world, who it's quick passing, know how to interchange, know how to make runs. It looks a lot better. When you're trying to play this type of football with some of the players we've had, it just looks shit sometimes. And it does look monotonous and it does look boring because you've got guys who either aren't consistent, aren't good enough, don't understand it because they're not quite as switched on mentally to that side of the game. But yeah, that's how it's going to be. And I think that is, for as long as Maresca is here, I think that's going to how it is. Let me rephrase that. That's how it's going to be sometimes. Unless these guys want to sign better quality players, or unless we see some of the guys who I think have shown a level of like understanding, or they look like they're stepping up, Gittens and Esteval too, for example, unless they're going to play more. I think they should play more on a side. That should be our starting wing pairing going forward. But yeah, something has to give in that respect. We either sign better players, or the players that are looking like they're understanding the system have to start more games.
Yeah, it's interesting as well when you talk about quality of player, like Bounanotte, clear example, giving the ball away so easily. And actually, if you watch the way that we defended the counter attack as well, or the transition, it's a 2v2. All right. Now, look, I'm not going to slate Achimpong for this, or toss it or whoever, but in my opinion, this is still something that can be handled. Okay. And what happens is you've got Achimpong trying to go towards the guy on the ball. Tossin's going there as well. And there's a lack of communication. And for whatever reason, Achimpong, he loses the striker, the wall striker. I can't remember his name, number 40. He was a big boy. And then he scores there. But that is a clear example of a lack of quality in two areas. Giving the ball away easily, struggling to, I would say, find that moment of quality defensively, because it's not an everyday piece of defending. But if it was Thiago Silva and if it was, let's just say, Rudiger, these players that we've counted on in the past, I don't think Wolves score that goal, mate.
I agree.
And I'm not just talking about giving the ball away. We could have given the ball away with other teams and still been able to defend it. And that is worrying.
100% agree, and I think like you go back to it, the Buonanotte, there's much to be said about him after last night's game. Not much of it positive, to be honest. But just focusing on the defense a second, I agree with you on the lack of communication. I think it looks like Josh doesn't really know where the guy is, the striker, which that's poor from his part. But I think what doesn't help is I think I don't know if you noticed it. Tosin doesn't. It looks like he doesn't really communicate to him until the very last minute. Like he might be speaking to him. It's hard to tell when you're like looking at it.
I think it's hard to pile it all on Tosin, mate. Because
I don't pile it. It's both of them, but I think it's a lack of awareness from Josh in terms of where the striker is. But I think it's a lack of communication from Tosin in terms of telling Josh to like, because Tosin in that situation can see more than Josh can because of like body position. So I just don't think he communicates where the striker is, and like I think he tells him at the last moment. I think you see he points to him at like the literal last moment before he gets the pass. The striker gets the pass. Yeah. So like that's why I say it's a kind of a calamity of errors from both of them. But I agree with on the Thiago Silva thing, because I think number one is I think he positions himself in a position where like how do I word this? I don't know if he steps out as much as Tosin did. I'm not saying that was an issue, but I think it then means he's able to communicate or kind of almost force Josh wider, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had support coming back as well. With who was coming back?
I don't even remember.
Someone was tracking back. Oh, Hatto was coming back. So Tosin had a little bit of support there if we would have held the ball up. But I mean, listen, it's much for a muchness. I mean, what we can agree on is lack of quality. Poor from Buonanotte giving the ball away. And it's a shame because I didn't mind Buonanotte against Lincoln, and in the games that I've seen him, I see a player that when you get him involved, it can make some things happen. But again, this is very half-hearted of me saying that. I'm not seeing a player that I trust in the Prem. I'm seeing a player that I would play against teams like Ajax, Carabao Cup games, etc. And from a rotation aspect, in terms of the fact that there are just games you need to rotate, I understand why we brought Buonanotte in. If that is the reason, it's just a cheap option, another man in there. But if anyone's looking at this guy and thinking he's going to have a future of Chelsea, oh, how much can we sign him for? I'm not entertaining that conversation right now. And I think that when you have a loan spell like this, it's like coming off the bench in certain games. You don't have much time to prove yourself. You need to show pretty much in the first couple of months, listen, I got this, I'm fine. I'm good enough. He hasn't done that. And I don't see why that trend changes anytime soon with Buonanotte, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's a real shame, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I agree. He's just not of the quality to play for Chelsea Football Club. Like,
the man was on loan at Leicester.
It's not even that he was on loan. Like, that's true, but
I
just
mean,
watching him play is just I don't know where to start. With so much to say about him.
Mate. He's sloppy. He's
very
sloppy.
The thing that annoys me, though, it infuriates me actually, because I hate this from midfielders, especially number 10s. There are times as a player and as a number 10 in the system we play and in just possession systems in general, you have to want the ball in areas that are uncomfortable for you. So you might be in the half space with like not really any space to turn. You might have a guy up your backside that like you need to hold off, or you might need to get a yard of space from him or whatever. The one thing I kept seeing from Buonanotte, especially in the second half, first half I didn't notice him as too much, but I was working at the same time, so it's kind of hard to watch the game at the same time. But second half I noticed it a lot more. He is so I don't want to use this word because it seems harsh, but I can't think of a better word. Cowardly, for lack of a better term, in terms of every time we would be attacking, he was like moving a lot, but without really moving. If that makes sense. Like, he's looking busy without really doing anything.
When you say that, do you know what that reminds me of?
What?
Did you ever play rugby when you were younger?
Like, yeah, in secondary school years ago.
If anyone watches rugby, I was quite a tall kid, Scott, and we had different teams in my school. So like it went from like the D's or whatever to the A's. A's was the best, and obviously blah blah. So I was in the B team, but I was the best player in the B team. And they moved me up to the A team once, and I was a prop, actually. I was a prop, so I was in the ruck. And basically, for those of you who don't watch rugby, that's where you get stuck in. That is where you get. That's like the midfield of rugby. Is that a fair way of saying it?
Yeah,
that's where the action is. That's where the action is. It's not pretty, if I'm honest. But I remember they moved me up to the A team, and my first match, I just fucking walked around, never went in any rucks. I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing it. And then they demoted me to the B team the next game. I was like, okay, I'm back.
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels like, because it's like he's moving around. The only time he really shows for the ball is when he's in acres of space, and it's just like to get the ball and then pass off first time. And it's like, that's cool. Like, I don't mind you doing that if you're a sub at 70 minutes and we're 3-0 up in the game and you're just trying to slow the game down.
Yeah.
But we're at 50, it was like 54 minutes at this point, 55 minutes when I'm seeing him doing this. You know, we've just conceded. We probably want to get another goal, or at least like try and get another goal. And yeah, he's just so nothing. And the bit that not hurts the most, but the bit that I find annoying is because I do understand your point in terms of it's just a loan, and look, we're not even paying him that much. I could get Reggie Walsh to do the same thing. There's no point Buonanotte being in this team when Reggie Walsh is in this team, in terms of it looks like Mauricio likes him. I think he could do the same role. So, and do you know what worst comes to worst? Say Reggie Walsh isn't very good. He looks decent I will say he looks decent from what we've seen so far, but say he isn't very good. He's not, he doesn't really develop. We can still sell him for 15 million.
Is Reggie Walsh a 10?
Yeah, that's where he wasn't. I'm pretty sure that's where he was in the academy.
Because when he played for us in the cup, he was a little bit deeper, wasn't he?
Yeah, recently, but I know last season when he was coming into the team, he was playing as a 10. Like, he was normally the one that was subbed for like KDH in games and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, I think he can play both. But yeah, as I said, worst comes to worst, you can sell him for pure profit. If Buonanotte is crap, he's not even our player, so we don't get anything out of it if he's crap. We can't even say, okay, but at least we can sell him for pure profit in the future. We can't. We send him back to Brighton at the end of his loan, and that's it. Because I'm just he like I said, he's such a nothing player at this point. Like
I'm trying to think who I could compare Buonanotte to that we've had in the past.
Oh, someone that I was on stream with compared him to Erdegaard. Said he was an Argentinian Erdegaard. Said he's very safe. He doesn't. Obviously, this game wasn't the best example of this, but he doesn't really lose the ball. He just keeps it ticking, but he doesn't really do anything going forward. He doesn't really create anything, but he's a very safe player, which up until this game I would have agreed with. This game was just like kept giving the ball away, horrible touches, one for the goal, for example. But yeah, I was like, that makes sense. But I can't have that in my 10. I can have that in a number 8 or a number 6. Like I said, 70 minutes into a game, wants to slow down the game to win a game or see a game out. Happy days. I can't have that from my 10. I need you to create, bro. I need you to be the one that like pushes the ball forward. Like he did against Ajax after 70 minutes. It only took 70 minutes, but at least he did it. He didn't even do that this game. That I saw.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is as well, when we speak about a lack of quality, there are players in there who have disappointed us in a number of games. Like I put Gittens in that category. I put George in that category. I'd put Tosin in that category recently. I'd put Santos in that category based on Forest. I'd put Gusto in there. I'd put Jorgensen in there. And yeah, some of them were all right, mate. Some of them were okay. I thought Hato was okay. I actually thought Tyreek George in the first half was getting involved a lot in the build-up play, which we never see as a striker. He's always like ghost, but he was involved in the build-up play and managed to get his goal as well. I thought Gittens was brilliant. I mean, we'll speak about Gittens maybe a little bit later. Let's get the negatives out of the way. Let's get them out of the way. You know what really disappointed me, mate, was Jorgensen. I mean, that was disappointing, wasn't it? That was, especially I feel like we already knew, but there's just confirmation, really.
Yeah, the second goal was terrible. Like, just goes under him. But we know this. Like, he's a crap goalkeeper. Like, he's just awful. That like, yeah, it's an unfortunate one with Jorgensen from our point of view because we're just waiting until next summer before we get rid of him. Like, we're just, as with a couple of positions, we're just in kind of holding until Penders comes into this team. Because when Penders comes into this team, he leaves. Sanchez becomes either the backup or Penders is the backup for a bit, while he acclimatizes the team or whatever. But yeah, we're just, when it comes to Jorgensen, we're just kind of in holding at the moment, waiting for Penders. And until that day, we just have to accept kind of his crap performances and go from there. Like, even the one thing that was surprising, I don't know if it's surprising because he's, like I said, he's crap, but the one thing he's normally been good at is kicking. His kicking yesterday was like that of Sanchez. he's playing it out off the pitch there, throw in here, throw in there. Like, just nothing.
So flappy.
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, that's the one
great description. That's. I don't think I could say anything. What else could you say that's better than that?
Nothing. Like, literally, he can't claim a cross. His shot stopping is meh. His kicking was meant to be good. That was meh yesterday. Yeah, he's just horrible.
I think that Jorgensen is the worst keeper that we've had since, he's the worst keeper we've had since I've actually started watching Chelsea live.
He might be. He's up there. Like,
he's not as good as Kepa. He's not as good as Mendy.
Him and Sanchez are battling out for number 1 in that position. And the only thing that saves
Sanchez, mate, do you know what? In fairness to Sanchez, mate, he doesn't have a lot. This season, he has been all right, mate.
Oh, no, he's had some bad games this season. It just hasn't cost us. The what I was going to say about Sanchez in comparison to Jorgensen is at least Sanchez has had games like the PSG game, the final, where he has had he's had a few. It's not been a lot, but it's been a few games of he's played like an 8 or 9 out of 10.
No, PSG was 10.
Yeah, he was excellent. I think of the Bournemouth one last season, excellent. I think of Forest again, excellent.
Yeah,
there's not many, but there's at least a few to go. Okay, you've had a few. Jorgensen has had none. He's had none. And do you know what sucks is the fact of I've just named both of our goalkeepers. I've just named both of our goalkeepers in terms of who might be the worst goalkeeper we've ever seen, me and Alex have ever seen in our 20-something years of watching Chelsea Football Club.
We went from Cech to Courtois to Kepa to Mendy to this.
Sanchez to Jorgensen.
That is a bad downfall, mate. You know what, Scott? I'll be honest with you, though, mate. And I'm sure some people in the chat might feel this way. And you know, there will come a time where it's going to get dark. It could get dark. I'm not there yet, I'll be honest, Scott, and I don't want to say it's going to be there, but it could well be there. And generally, for most football fans, there's a time, and I think that time for us last year was February, March. That's when things got tasty. But I really want to try and stay away from complaining as much as I can, because I know what this team is. I know what it is. And I know that there's also some very good things about this team. And I'm hoping that those good things can almost drag everything else across. If that is our goalkeeper or our defense, I'm hoping our midfield and our hopefully goals up top will be able to compensate for that, which was the case last season, in fairness, although we had a lot more clean sheets and we were much better defensively. But that is what I'm riding off of. I mean, if we're talking about Jorgensen, Buonanotte is another one. I mean, they let us down. I'm trying to think who else.
Tosin as well. He was culpable. Oh, he's now been directly involved in 8 of the goals we've conceded in about 5 minutes.
Which one are you thinking of for Tosin?
He misses the header. Yeah, so the third goal we concede, he's wrestling with Strand Larsen again, by the way. Misses the header completely. It falls to someone who pings it over to the guy who scores.
Let's have a look.
Yeah,
he lost that battle, didn't he? I mean, in fairness, I mean, much for muchness, isn't it? I mean, I do think Tosin actually won quite a few duels against.
Oh, he probably did, and like, to be fair to him, in terms of like, he was up against that 6'6" dude up front, and then Strand Larsen comes on, who I think is like 6'4" or 6'5", but still. The one thing I expect from you as a 6'4", I think he is, or 6'5", something like that, is to win headers. And yeah, he just completely whiffs on that one, and we concede from it. But yeah, like it's just like you said, the quality thing. The quality in this team in certain areas is just bad, which is unfortunate. And I think it's like you said, it's almost the opposite of what you said in terms of. This season, we've had really good moments. Like, you look at this game, Gittens, Santos, excellent. I thought George in the first half, basically until we went to left wing, which was weird. He was really good. Esteval was good. Lavia as well. Thought the back line in general in the first half was good.
Yes.
I think Hato, again, another very good performance from him, just on an aside. And although we have these really good moments, it seems to be not outweighed, but what's the opposite of outshone? Whatever that is, it's like that the bad stuff is dragging the good stuff down.
Overshadowed.
There we go.
Yeah,
it's overshadowing at points the good stuff, which sucks because, like I said, just talking on the good stuff briefly, like, this is the best game we've seen from Gittens, and he's had a few games in a row that have been excellent. Like, more than just the goals, the assists, just his all-round play, excellent. And a lot of what people are talking about coming out of that game, obviously they are talking about Gittens because how good he was, but they're talking about the mistakes again. They're talking about, the poor subs, which I think we should talk about at some point. We should get into maybe later on. Be like the poor subs, the conceding goals again, defensive errors, problems with Jorgensen, the red card.
Let's talk about the red card. Yeah, let's talk about the red card, mate.
I need people. I need every single person that went at Nicholas Jackson after the Newcastle red card to have the same energy for Delap, because it's literally the same thing.
Yep.
He had 2 red card challenges in the game yesterday and got a yellow for both of them, but still got the red card because he did 2 of them, so got a yellow for both of them. The second one is, I'm trying to understand what went through his head. He's backtracking, looks, sees the guy there, At no point, by the way, so he's looking up. He turns his head. At no point then does his head go that direction. His head is just focused on the guy, and then the elbow goes up straight into the face, which is the same thing as what Jackson did against Newcastle. So, and I know some people have, but this is more of a like to everyone. If you criticize Jackson and wanted Jackson out or him benched or whatever after the Newcastle game, I need the same energy for the lap. I need the same energy because it's the same.
Yeah. In fairness, I fucking love the lap, mate. I love him. And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. Bring back the old school forwards, mate. Look, obviously, I'm not happy that he got sent off, but I like it when they have a bit of a push and a shove. But you're right. There's a time and a place. And I think he got a bit excited. He's been out for a while. And yeah, the way he looked at the referee when he come off, it was like he was shocked that he got that yellow card. He was surprised.
Don't know how.
I wasn't surprised that he got sent off, but I also sort of it's what does Rabar say? It's not anger, but it's like more of support.
Oh, I think he was replying to someone. Someone else in the chat.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, I get that, but two things. Number one, this is the second time he's done this. He did this against who was it?
He sent off for us before.
Yes, he has in the Club World Cup.
Hang on, the lap.
He got sent off in the Club World Cup for the same thing.
Which game?
I'm fairly certain he got sent off in the Club World Cup.
That was Jackson, mate. That was Jackson.
No, I think both of them got sent off. Club World Cup. 2025.
No, I don't think so. No.
Let me double check. I'm fairly certain he did. I think it was against what's it called? Was it? I think it was the African team we played. I can't remember who the hell we played. Tunis.
No.
Chelsea Club World Cup games.
No, he didn't get sent off. I remember Jackson. Yes, Tunis. Yeah, I know which team you're talking about.
No, he didn't get sent off. Did he get a yellow card? He got something. No. He definitely got something.
Fucking take the yellow, mate. I don't care about yellow cards. Everybody, see, this is where everyone's right to criticize the lap.
I think it was Flamengo. Sorry, he got a yellow card for he didn't get sent off. He got a yellow card for doing the same thing in terms of the ball had gone and he just clattered into someone. Like,
but you see, I don't mind that, Scott, because you're not getting sent off.
I hate that.
When you get sent off with two of them in a game, that's wrong and that's stupid. But that he's like, how do I describe it? He's like Cucurella, mate. There's that line, and he's just right next. He's just rubbing on there, just poking his head out.
He crosses it. He's got the most yellow cards in the Premier League last season. He crosses it more often than not.
Fucking love it, mate. As long as you don't get sent off, I love it.
But he does get sent off.
He did get sent off. No, fair enough.
He did get sent off, and he's not learning. He had the most yellow cards in the Premier League last season, and he's coming to this team.
You've got to give him a little bit more time than that. He's only been in the Premier. This is his second season. So
yeah, he's a striker and got the most yellow cards in the Premier League
because he sticks it on the defenders. I'd much rather that than the players we've had in the past.
Then he's going to get more. Then he's going to get more red cards.
We had Bambi on ice, mate. And now we've got a striker who wants to stick it on someone. I haven't got a problem.
Then he's going to get more red cards. Like as long as we're okay with that, which I'm not.
He's not going to. But he's not. Look, if he keeps getting red or second yellow in a game, I completely concur with what you're saying. But if it's yellow and then yellow and then yellow, no problem. Because sometimes a defender needs to know who they're up against. And you've been to games, Scott. What better feeling is there than seeing your striker bully the defense? Not just in terms of runs, but physically. It just doesn't happen in the modern game anymore.
There is a difference between bullying and, like, you can bully a defense without getting yellow cards. We see Haaland do it all the time. We see, we've seen Costa do it all the time. Yes, he got yellow cards, and I do wonder in the VAR era.
I compare the lap to Costa. I would.
He's not the same because Costa knew how to do it in a way that he didn't get yellow cards, and knew how to do it in a way where, like, he knew how to do it, so it always wasn't him getting the fouls or whatnot. He knew how to draw fouls and stuff like that. With the lap, from what we're seeing, he is the one giving fouls away and getting yellow cards.
Yeah. I mean, I would
Last
say
season,
that
for example, last season he got 12 yellow cards. If he
yeah,
gets 12 yellow cards this season, that means he misses 3 games for us through suspension.
I would say that Costa, if he did the things now that he did when he was a Chelsea player, he would have been sent off much more than he was. So that comparison is fair in terms of the time, but refereeing was totally different. It was more relaxed. They didn't have VAR. They didn't see half the shit that was going on. But that doesn't defend what happened at Wolves, because no matter which referee was watching that game, Costa or Delap or anyone would have got a yellow card, because it was it wasn't in the background, was it? It was in plain sight. Everyone was looking at the ball and you could see what Delap was doing. So you can't make any excuses for that particular moment. I'm just saying that if he wants to be aggressive, more often in the Premier League, and you get a few yellow cards for it, I don't have an issue with that, mate. I really don't.
I'm just having a look here, by the way. I'm just interested. The next highest booked striker in the Premier League last season was Darwin Nunez on 8. So again, I don't have an issue with him being physical. I have an issue with him picking up unnecessary yellow cards again and again and again, and also not learning from his mistakes. Which, by the way, on a side note, I'm glad about Maresca's comments, because that was going to be an issue I had with Maresca coming out of that game, that we have been getting these yellow cards and getting these red cards, and some of them weren't disciplinary issues in terms of like the Sanchez one or the Chalobah one, but like the João Pedro one, the Gusto one, the Delap one today. Like, I'm glad that he has put his foot down and been like, this is unacceptable, this is embarrassing. And it is. And I'm gonna be honest, it sucks in a sense that Delap is our only striker basically at this point. Like, only proper striker, I should say. But when he comes back, I'd bench him.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to what Jordan just said in the chat. What was Maresca teaching these players for getting these red cards? I think it's like anything, though. If you're let's just imagine you're a parent and your kids keep messing around, like, you keep telling them, what they shouldn't and should not do, but you can't live their life for them. There's an element of accountability that these players need to take as well.
But you address it.
The manager. But I agree with what you're saying about the comments.
Them in a way. Like, if they don't do it the first time, you tell them again. If they don't do it the second time, like, you make it clear, like, there will be consequences. They don't do it the third time, you enact those consequences, and they soon learn. It's the same with anything. So if we're not learning and we're picking up yellow cards and red cards stupidly, at some point you have to, someone has to be the scapegoat, and it has to be the example that's made. Like, so Delap should be docked a week's wages immediately. And for the next game when he's back fit, the Wolves game that we play after Spurs, he should be sitting on the bench, because that's what you get for unnecessarily not costing your team, but putting your team in an unnecessary position, especially when you've just come back from being injured. So you haven't even been able to play or help the team in any way, shape or form. You come back after being injured. You're on the pitch for, what was it, like 10, 15 minutes?
Not even 10, mate.
Even 10 minutes?
Oh, hang on. Actually, no, sorry. My fault. So my fault. He got the yellow. So he came on in the 61st minute.
Yep.
He got his yellow card in the 79th, and he got his second yellow and the red in the 86th. Cool.
So he was on the pitch for 20 minutes. Right. And then is sent off and can't play against Tottenham. Fantastic. Thank you for helping the team. So yeah, like I said, he should be docked a week's wages, and made an example of, because like this red card thing needs to stop. The start of them was stupid in terms of, the Sanchez error, the Chalobah thing. Those can be helped to an extent. That's just defensive errors. That was petulance. What we saw yesterday. That's just petulance. You should have got a red card for the first, by the way. I don't know why how you're trying to slap a man in the face. I don't know why you're trying to, like, raise your hands to someone. I actually don't know why you're doing that. That was a red. The fact he didn't get a red was incredibly lucky, and then he got a red anyway.
It's not ideal, is it? It's not ideal.
No. Well, VAR wasn't in the game yesterday, was it?
No, not in the Carabao.
Thank the Lord, because otherwise we'd be missing him for 3 games.
Why? Oh, you mean straight red?
Yeah, the first one would have been a straight red if VAR was involved, and we would have missed him for 3 games for violent conduct.
Let's move on to the positives. Let's talk about Jamie Gittens, mate. There are positives, guys. There are positives.
Yeah, he is like he is not excellent. He was excellent. In all aspects, like he's really started to turn a corner, and I have a small negative in here. It's not aimed at him. This is why I am annoyed at the sporting directors for not getting him in earlier than when they could have done, because I think if they'd just paid the money, which they paid anyway, before the Club World Cup, so he was in for the Club World Cup, I think he could have started the season how he's playing now, because he would have had more time with the team, he would have had more reps, more games to play, etc. But after having those poor games to start the season and looking, not like a footballer, to be completely honest, he has turned a corner in the last few games. Like, what's it called? The I can't think what I was trying to say. The Ajax game.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the games. The Ajax game, he was very good. This game, he was great. And it's just like I said, it's all aspects of his game. His link-up play was fantastic. His ability to drive at a man, like I know that's kind of his main positive or main attribute, but being able to see that is fantastic. His shooting, like outside of the goal, which we'll talk about, just his shooting is very good. Ability to use both feet. I just think his decision making is the thing that's let him down up until this point. He was excellent in the game yesterday, and I think you see that there is a player there, or there can be with the right development. Obviously, some of that, like what his ceiling is, remains to be seen. But yeah, he was excellent. Like just an all round incredible performance.
I will say this. I don't want to sort of diminish his performance, but it was a poor Wolves side, a really poor Wolves side. And if there's one thing I've noticed that Gittens struggles with, it's when defenders go up to him, put him under pressure. I don't feel like he's generally very nifty. He comes across as I don't know the best way to describe it. Like the polar opposite of Esteval. If I see him one-on-one, I'm like, he's going to probably lose the ball now. Whereas Esteval, I think, he's going to skip past him. And in fairness, he got better and better as time went on, especially in that first half. And he was skipping past players. He was doing it. But do I see him doing that? Let's just say he starts against Tottenham. I don't see him doing that in that particular game. But I look at this as a building block, mate. I still look at Gittens in a very similar light to before the game, if I'm honest, because I saw the profile when he was at Dortmund. I appreciate the profile, but I don't see enough quality to lean on a player like that. I mean, do you agree with me on that, Scott? Because sure, he's got ability, but you could say that about basically everyone in this team. It doesn't mean that they should be playing for us all in all. And again, I don't want to sit here and say that Gittens doesn't deserve to start against Tottenham. There's probably an argument for it based on his confidence and like, who knows, maybe he can pull something out the bag. But me, when I look at Gittens and Garnacho, I'm still putting Garnacho on top of Gittens, to be totally honest with you. Like that's the way I see it, based on the fact that he's got Premier League experience. And I just think that I know what I'm going to get from Garnacho. I don't know what I'm going to get from Jamie Gittens on a weekly basis.
I think, in my opinion, Gittens is better in all aspects of football than Garnacho. I don't think there's a single attribute that Garnacho has over Gittens.
You were thinking about holding back for a second.
No, I was wondering how to word that, actually. Yeah, I don't think there's a single attribute that Garnacho has over Gittens outside of one, and that attribute is of no use to us, and that would be that he shoots more. Doesn't do anything with those shots. He just shoots more. Yeah, I think Gittens deserves to start based on the fact of, I think Esteval is the guarantee, or not guarantee. He's not the guarantee. Should be the guaranteed starter on the right hand side, because he is our best winger. I then look at the other three that are currently playing. I think Garnacho is comfortably the worst winger we have at the football club right now. I think that Neto has underwhelmed considerably, especially recently. Like, we can say it's Wolves, sure. Neto came on yesterday and did like basically nothing. Like, he might as well have not played. And so I look at Gittens and go, even though I've didn't rate him massively before he came. I don't necessarily rate him massively now in terms of what he can get to, but you're on form. It's more than I can say for the other two. You have confidence right now. Again, more than I can say for the other two. And at some point, we have a youth project. You have to trust in the youth and just let them play. Like, I've seen enough of Garnacho doing nothing in games, or, he scored against Sunderland, did nothing afterwards. I need to see something different. Now, Gittens might not do anything. Who knows? But we need to see it to know where the level is at, Like,
yep.
Okay, he's good enough to beat a Wolves, to play against Wolves. Is he good enough to play at Spurs? Okay, maybe he's not good enough to play at Spurs. Is he good enough to play against who's in the middle at the moment? Like I can't actually know what to say. Like a Leeds. Is he good enough to play against a Brighton right now? Sort of thing, We need to see where his level's at so we can judge who he can play against, basically. Because, like I said, at the moment, who we're playing in the league is not working. I think that's clear to see. Whether it's Garnacho, whether it's Neto, it's not good on either side. So, give me Gittens in the league.
Takes on his toilet paper. That's great.
Right. Give me Gittens in the league. Worst case scenario, he's as bad as Garnacho, which, okay. Or he's as bad as Neto was in the last game. Like, if that's worst case scenario, then we already know our winger core kind of sucks anyway. So, and I feel like we've seen the worst of Gittens as well, in terms of you look at the Benfica cameo, he was terrible.
Yep.
I'm trying to think what other games he wasn't good as well. There was early games this season. I can't remember exactly what games, but we've seen him at his worst. So, if he plays like that again, he plays like that again. I've also seen Neto at his worst this season. I've seen Garnacho at his worst. The only winger we haven't seen have a bad game. He's had a couple games where he wasn't as good as other games, but the only winger we haven't seen had a bad game really is Esteval. But he can't play both sides. We don't have Palmer right now. João Pedro has to play 10 because there's no one else. Unless you want to play Tyreek George on the wing, and I'm going to be honest, I like him way more on the right than I do on the left after watching the game yesterday.
Tyreek George?
Tyreek George.
Okay.
I think he's better on the right than on the left. I remember the Brighton game we were at when no one was doing anything when we lost 3-0. I think it's 3-0 or 3-1, wherever it was, and no one was doing anything. He comes on and immediately beats Tyreek Lamptey first time after watching Neto not do anything. So I like him on the right. I think he's got a good cross in him as well, but we still then have the problem of no one to play on the left. So yeah, like I said, I'd give Gittens game time in the Prem, because also on a side note as well, and I think the same for Garnacho, for this manager, not necessarily the manager, but for the fans, I think, and more importantly for the sporting directors and the owners to see these guys are good enough or bad enough for them not to be here, they have to play. And in league competition. You can't just keep playing this guy in the cup, not really give him any minutes in the league, and then we are able to have a fair judgment on him as a player. Because it was the same for Mudryk, it was the same for Madueke. We had to see these guys play and get real minutes to know they weren't good enough on a consistent basis. So yeah, I just want him to get more minutes. Like I say, he was very good yesterday, and it's just something to build on at the end of the day. This guy's in form, he's got confidence, let him build on it.
I mean, here's the way I see it going. Or not even that. Here's what I'd be open to seeing. I would be open to seeing Gittens play against Tottenham. I'm open to it. I don't think it will happen. I don't think it's the right time to play him. I think that what will happen is we'll see Garnacho on that left-hand side against Tottenham.
Right.
I then think that Gittens probably starts against Carabao. And I think that's good experience. And I would then also make the argument that, if he has a good game against Carabao, that's now, a couple of really decent performances against Ajax. Obviously, I presume he won man of the match against Wolves. Yeah, right?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. So winning the man of the match against Wolves, I think that you might as well just start him again before the international break against Wolves in the league game. And then after the international break, when you've got Burnley, Barcelona, and Arsenal, it's crunch time. And you need to think, depending on how Chelsea are going to play, how we're going to set up in these games, that's who you're going to start. But if we're breaking down low blocks, I do think in terms of profile, Gittens is better.
Yes.
I'm absolutely with you on that. I think that, you know, his ability to get past the man, have a crack, try and take a risk in a different way to Garnacho, a way that if he is through on goal, I think he will score more often. Whereas Garnacho needs more chances to convert. Having said that, though, if we play Barcelona or even Arsenal, I wouldn't have a problem with Garnacho playing in those games, especially if we're going to break on the counter. Like I think that is a good asset that he has, mate, and we've seen him do it. You know, I don't have an issue with that.
I'm having.
Scott, like, you hate the guy. We've got to have a rational conversation here.
He's just crap. That's what it is. I just think he's a crap footballer. Well, like I'm just imagining him versus
Tim. I mean, we could say the same thing about Gittens. We could.
Oh no, but the Gittens' profile makes sense. Garnacho's profile doesn't make sense. He's a counter-attacking winger in a team that doesn't counter.
Did you not? That's my point, Scott. I just said that's why you would play him against Barcelona and Arsenal, not.
No, I also wouldn't play him because I just wouldn't play him because he's crap. I think he's crap. Like I said, I think Gittens, even from a profile perspective, even though I agree with you they're going to play higher up the pitch, I would still play Gittens because I think he's going to cause whoever plays right back for Barcelona, Kunde, and Timber especially, more problems. Like I don't think he's necessarily going to win those duels, but I think he gives you a better option because I think dribbling-wise, he's far superior. I think on both feet, he's far superior. I think link-up play, he's far superior. So, like I said, he might not have a good time, and he probably won't, especially against Timber. I think he gives you a better chance. Because I also think, Kunde, I don't know. I don't watch Barcelona enough. Yeah. With Arsenal, those counter-attacks that we have, if we do get in behind, Timber is fast enough and good enough to recover. And even if he beats Timber, he's then got to beat Saliba or Mosquera, which I don't think he does. So that's why I say I think that it's more than just like I do dislike him, but it's as a player. Like I just think he's crap. That's what it is.
Let me ask you this: two scenarios, right? You got two scenarios. One scenario, the whole team's playing well. The other scenario, the whole team's playing badly. Separate answers. Which player out of Garnacho and Gittens would you pick? And try and be like reasonable here, Scott. I'm trying to have a rational conversation around this.
Right.
By the way, I don't even know who I'd pick off the top of my head, but who would you pick? So let's just say we're playing a game. Let's use Lincoln as an example. We're all shit. Everyone's playing crap in the first half. And who do you pick? Garnacho or Gittens? And then you've got another game like, I don't know, West Ham. Everyone's playing well. You know, what player do you think can carry us when we're playing poorly, and what player do you think can add to us when we're playing well as a team? It's an interesting question, huh?
It is, because my thought process isn't like my thought process is more like who would we beat? Like I think we both beat both teams in that scenario, but I'm thinking of like who would we beat that would like say for example, like Gittens had a bad game.
Yep.
We should still beat a Lincoln despite him having a bad game. Same with Garnacho. Like both of them have a bad game, we should still beat Lincoln. Probably still beat West Ham as well. That's actually a very good question. I don't know. I don't think the problem is I don't think either of them are capable of putting a team on their back, or putting this team, I should say, on their back and carrying us through a bad period. Or if we're playing like shit, I don't think either. Like if the whole team is playing like crap, I don't think either player is capable of doing that currently. Through a mixture of like either lack of confidence or being too young, etc. Right? I do think, to be fair, I do think if the whole team is playing well, I think both can contribute in different ways. But again, I think it just comes down to like who is the better player, and I think Gittens is the better player, like ultimately. Because like I said, I do think both can contribute. Like we saw against Sunderland, like Garnacho did contribute to the team. It's just a shame that he sucked after he scored. Actually, didn't even suck after he scored. He was, to be fair, he was good up until we conceded, like up until the 20-something minute. And then the whole team was bad, and he was included in that. But like, he was actually good, and he did contribute. That's why I said I actually was gonna I think I said on a stream that I was gonna come on that stream after the first 20 minutes talking about Garnacho having a good game. It's just a shame that died after 20 minutes. Like, because he was up until that point having a good game, and then it died. I did say he wasn't the worst winger that day. I will say that much. He wasn't the worst winger.
You're right.
Pedro Neto had that distinct honour of being the worst winger that day, but they were both kind of shit. But yeah, that's where I stand. I agree with what Matisse said. If I could sell him in January, I'd sell him.
Fair play. I wouldn't sell him, mate. I wouldn't sell him. I just think that both players need a bit of time. But on the Garnacho side, I want to see how he thrives in an environment where he is wanted. And by wanted, I mean by the recruitment, by the manager, by the club. He might not be the fan base, like we've already established that. I just want to see what happens there. Also, everyone that's watching, guys, smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel as well. I've also put a poll in the chat section about Gittens and Garnacho. So who do you think is a better player out of the two of them? Do you think Garnacho's better or do you think Gittens is better? As it stands, it's 50-50. 50% of you think Gittens, 50% of you think Garnacho. So I'm going to give that a little bit of time to breathe. Let's move on to the midfield, Scott. What are we saying about Santos? He obviously got the goal. He started alongside Lavia as well, who was equally involved in the goal that Santos scored as well. Very, very press resistant. But then he was replaced by Enzo Fernandez, and obviously Bounanotte come off for Caicedo towards the end of the game.
I thought the midfield was very good in that first half. Even the second half, up until Lavia came off, I thought we were good. Santos, it was nice to see him play his actual position for once in this team. Play a little bit deeper, play more of the box-to-box role. Thought he did it very good. Like, took his goal really well. Just thought he has he obviously doesn't have the passing of Enzo Fernandez. I think that much is obvious. But I think the other things he has, he can still play that role. You know, the ground coverage, the defensive capabilities, the box crashing, or the shooting from distance. His shooting from distance actually is better than Enzo Fernandez, as we see.
Yeah.
But it's just the passing he doesn't have. But I think you can make up for that also with how we play sometimes. Even Enzo doesn't get to utilize his passing as much. So I don't necessarily think we always miss it as much in that sense. But I thought he was very good. Lavia, great again. And I think, talking of things we miss or that only he has, his ability to, two things. Number one, take the ball off the centre-backs. He's basically the only one we have that can do that under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, his ability. There was a moment in the first half, I think it was, where Jorgensen plays him a ball and he actually takes it like a bad touch, or like he does this weird spin where he doesn't really get a lot of, like, how do I explain it? He doesn't create a lot of space for himself, basically. Like, he doesn't really get the ball out of his feet very well. And he's got a guy behind him pressing him, and he's got two guys in front of him pressing him. And he just dinks the ball between them through to Gusto. Just takes three men out of the game immediately. And it's like, he is basically, like, Caicedo can do that sometimes. I think Enzo can do that, but doesn't do it enough. But I think he is the one that can do that the best. That's what I think we miss with him not being in the game. His ability to turn on the half turn, to take players out of the team, or take players out of the game, I should say. That passing ability in between the lines. And that was why I was annoyed he didn't come on against Sunderland, because he can do that. When you're playing a team that wants to sit in a deep block, you need to be able to break lines with your passing, split open, like find the gaps in the defense. He could have done that. It's really good to see him play. Obviously, I know he had to come off. I understand why. You're obviously preserving him. You're trying to manage his game. I understand that. We got worse, so much worse, when he came off and Enzo came on. Because you see what we then missed in terms of not being able to take the balls off the centre-back, not being able to really break the lines as well, not being as press resistant, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I thought those two specifically, Santos and Lavia, after the game they had against, who was the game they had where they were crap?
Forest.
That's the one. After the Forest game, they both needed that. I think they really needed that because they were excellent. I thought
Lewis was ripping into Enzo Fernandez after that game. I saw his post-match reaction. Can't remember what he said. I think the title was Enzo Fernandez. What was the title? What did he say? Enzo Fernandez and Liam Delap disgraceful. Now, obviously, Delap, I get it. I mean, do you think that's harsh on Enzo? But what do we
yes.
think in the chat as well, guys? Like, I
thing
don't know why we're pinning all of. I don't know why he's been the center of this conversation. I appreciate you can underperform, but
I think it's more like what I said. I think we got way worse when he came on for Lavia,
right?
because of certain things. Like I said, I don't think he's anywhere near as press resistant. I think he used to be. Like I remember that season under Potter, I thought he was pretty press resistant. I don't know what happened.
He's just higher up pitch, mate. That's what it is.
Maybe, but like he even plays deeper at times. Like he was picking the ball up from the left and right, or picking the ball up in left and right back areas sometimes yesterday. But like he still gets the ball in those areas sometimes, but he doesn't seem as press resistant. Maybe it's more like he just because he's playing hard, we don't notice it as much, but he doesn't seem as press resistant. The other thing was he wasn't really breaking the lines as much and helping us going forward, I don't think, as much as Lavia was. But yeah, I just think the reason why I understand that from Lewis is because of the drop off we had, especially in midfield once Lavia went off and once he came on. And I think you could see there was a level of control we had over the game that just went. Now, I do think some of that came from obviously we conceded. Wolves get a bit of momentum. But I think with Lavia on the pitch, and like I said, I understand why he came off 100%. I think with him on the pitch, I think we can ride that game out a lot better than we did. So I understand why. I'm not saying he was the fault of everything, because he wasn't. Like, obviously, I think you watch the goals we conceded, and you can tell he wasn't the fault of everything. But I do think he had a negative impact, I should say, on how we ended up like playing as a team because of the things he couldn't do in comparison to Lavia.
Yeah, by the way, we get the stability with Lavia. We get a lot of stability.
100%. I noticed Rubik's has made a comment about this, and I just want to address this when we're talking about the midfield. I do not want to see another Enzo Maresca press conference where he talks about the injuries. Just putting it out there. João Pedro, I'm glad he didn't play. You brought Caicedo on when you didn't need to, for literally no reason. You didn't need to.
I mean, in fairness, we were sort of clinging on, weren't we?
I think we still would get through that game without Caicedo being on the pitch. I think just put another centre back on if you need to or whatever. You don't need to bring him on in that game, especially when he's apparently not training properly. And he's carrying a knock. I don't think you need to play him for those minutes. Enzo is an interesting one because, again, we didn't really have anyone else. But at the same time, I then don't want to hear about he's suffering an injury because you keep playing him in games he either doesn't need to play in or you play him for 90 minutes most games. I don't want to hear that anymore. I'm tired of hearing that excuse. Like when if João Pedro plays badly in the next game, I hope he doesn't, by the way. But if he plays bad in the next game, I don't want to hear, he's still not training properly. You rested him. So you didn't have to play. So yeah, that I just wanted to put that out there because that excuse is annoying me.
Fair. Yeah, I mean the thing is, Scott, the injury one is a weird one, mate. I appreciate that Maresca's got to work with what he has, but at the same time, if he doesn't have Caicedo, if he doesn't have João Pedro, you're looking at Bounanotte, you're looking at Andre Santos, who, by the way, was great, but we've seen him be disappointing at times. Same with other players as well. I've missed one or two. I mean,
as an example, by the way, as something he could have done, because I'm not saying this would have been ideal, but I'm saying if the injury concerns were as bad as he keeps making them to be.
I mean, he had Fofana on the bench, but he's injury prone.
I was literally about to say, play Fofana at centre back, move Achapong into midfield, because we've seen him play midfield before, and I don't like this idea, and I'm not saying it would be good, I'm saying you could do this to see out a game, put Gusto in midfield. Just to run around. So at that point, by the way, the point at which it was 76 minutes, or was it 60 minutes or something that Enzo came on?
Yeah.
So I'm saying for 30 minutes, you can ask Gusto just run around and press and defend. Don't attack. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you could have found ways, I think, to play someone else to mitigate this injury thing. Like I said, with the Caicedo thing, if you want to shore up the back line or you want to see out a game, bring on Fofana, put Josh in midfield. There you go, problem solved. He didn't want to do that though, so I don't want to hear excuses about injuries because you play players you didn't have to play.
Fair. To be fair, I don't really have much of an argument for that. I think injuries is just you can't change a player that's injured, but you can manage them. Last season, I think Enzo was good, mate, in terms of managing
players. I think he's been mostly good this season. To be fair, like the way he's handled Lavia.
Oh no, sorry, I wasn't going to flip it.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to say that you don't have the opportunity to play 2-11s now, so it is more challenging. So if you're able to do that, then I think actually you deserve more credit. I tell you, who was great at rotating players. It was Tuchel, but he had so much more in his arsenal, mate. Like
30 players or whatever it was.
Yeah, we had Saul and
couldn't even play. He was playing left wing back at times. Mate, I do agree with you. And to be fair, like for the most part, that's why I haven't really gotten on him about the Caicedo one, for example. The backup to Caicedo was meant to be a Sugo. He's injured. Up until yesterday, I didn't have an issue with Caicedo playing as much as he has done. There is no one else. I don't want to see Gusto starting in midfield from the start. Like, that's only a worst case scenario, break glass in case of emergency, like last 30 minutes kind of thing. Like, I don't want to see Achampong playing in midfield all the time. But like yesterday, he didn't need to play. I understand it was only 6 minutes. What if he gets injured in those 6 minutes or makes his injury or his... It's not an actual injury in terms of he's injured. It's more like his problem he's got in his knee worse, for example. That's what I'm annoyed about. I'm annoyed that like Enzo plays 90 minutes every game when he doesn't need to. That's more what I'm annoyed about. The same with João Pedro, even though that one is, again, it's a little bit more of a grey area because we don't really have anyone else. So I do kind of understand that. But you've got Bounanotte. He might be crap. You've got Bounanotte. You just choose not to use him most of the time. I understand why. Because he's crap. You still choose not to use him. So like I said, it's not completely black and white, but you've had instances where you have been able to use other players and you've chosen not to. So that's on you. If these guys are playing for injury, part of that, not everything, but part of that is on you for playing them as much as you're playing them.
Fair. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that. I think you make a good point, Scott. I think you make a good point. I think it's just difficult with the amount of games that are going on, mate, and the pressure that these managers are under. Like, they're always going to play their best players if they can. I remember, did you watch the All or Nothing documentary with Mourinho? Did you watch that one?
I haven't watched any of the All or Nothing stuff. I probably should. The City one looked quite good, but I've not actually watched any of them.
I watched the City one. I watched the Tottenham one. I watched a small segment of the Arsenal one. I thought the Tottenham one was the most interesting, mate. When Harry Kane got injured, then Mourinho basically made Son like the guy in the team. And mate, I'll never forget the conversations that he was having with the physio at that time. He was literally, the physio was like, he's going to need another 4 weeks. And Mourinho was like, what the fuck? Fucking 4 weeks. He was like getting proper arsey with these physios. They were probably scared of him, to be fair. And like, he was putting so much pressure on players to come back, to be available. He was like, come on, tell me that they can play. Or, like, I get it. On the flip side, you let the player recover and then he's hopefully fine when he comes back. But you can risk losing those points short term, which could cost you anyway. So it's a lose-lose situation in a number of respects. Like, yes, you want the player to get better, but you also need results. Otherwise, you're going to lose your job and you're going to be under pressure. So I have sympathy when it comes to that sort of thing. I do have sympathy, mate. But then, you know, the idea is, oh, you're a Chelsea manager, you're better than this, all the rest of it. You know, we had a pretty strong bench, mate, on paper. But then half of those players, you could argue, you know, are at risk of getting injured. You could say that about James. You could say that about João Pedro. You could say about Delap. You could say about Fernandes. You could say that about Fofana. Obviously, you could say that about Caicedo. So
I completely agree. Like, he is like, that's what I say. Some of it, he's
as well. Like, you can't win, mate. You can't win.
100%. it's going to be interesting what he does when, like, because this isn't even the really busy period. Yeah, we're playing like a decent amount of games at the moment, but this isn't even the really busy period. Like, we've still got the Christmas period to come, and that's notorious for how busy it is. How many games you've got to play in such a short period of time. He's going to have to rotate. You know, we saw him do it last season, and obviously the quality of the squad let him down. You know, with who we had in some places, I think the quality in some areas is a lot better. It's obviously not as good in some places, but we've addressed that. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how he uses, because he has to. Like, he's going to have to use Buonanotte in league games. He's going to have to use all of the wingers at times in league games. He's going to have to use, what's it called? Well, he's using Gusto. That's aside. He's going to have to use Santos and potentially Asugo. Actually, I don't know. Is Asugo back in December, or is he back after the December?
It's a long-term injury, mate. I don't think he'll be back.
I think it might be after December. Depending on if he's back. Santos definitely, maybe Asugo. Like, he's going to have to start using these guys a lot more during that period. So we need to see them play more together now. You know, we need to see Santos have 30 minutes in the league. So when he plays against I don't even know who we're playing over the Christmas period. When he plays a Newcastle, I know we're playing Newcastle on the 20th. I think it's the 20th. I know that for a fact. When we play Newcastle away, for example, if he has to start that game, he can't start that game cold. Like, as in, he's had 10 minutes of football up until that point, like within the past couple of weeks, or 15 minutes or whatever it is. So yeah, I agree with you. There is some aspects of the rotation that he is kind of hamstrung, no pun intended, by. But I do think some of it he could have rotated better. But yeah, I do agree he's in between a rock and a hard place. It's difficult.
Let us know what you think in the chat as well. I'm not gonna lie, Scott. I mean, I don't know what to think about Spurs. I think we'll probably finish talking about them, mate. Like, what's your take going into that game? Like, what's your prediction? Do you have a prediction?
I think we win. I don't know what I think the score is going to be, because I think both teams are such a mess at the moment, especially defensively. So it's hard to predict an actual score. I think we win. We always beat Spurs. It doesn't matter who's good, bad. It doesn't matter what form is. This is, you know, people say, like, when it comes to rivalries, form doesn't matter. This is the game that perfectly encapsulates for Chelsea, I think, because we saw last season. It was last season. I don't think we started amazing. Oh, no, it wasn't last season. Sorry, it was the Poch season, wasn't it? We started pretty crap. Like, we weren't good. They started amazingly, unbeaten. We play them. We win 4-1. You know, like, stuff like that can just happen. So, and we always beat Spurs as well. Like, we just always beat them. So I think we win. Like I said, couldn't tell you what the score is. Couldn't tell you who's going to play well. In fact, I actually probably could tell you who's going to play, because it seems to be a pattern at the moment. But yeah, like, I think we do win, and I'm just hoping to see some good performances. You know, I want to see João Pedro play well. I want to see Caicedo and Enzo play well after the debacle of Sunderland. I want to see the wingers play well. They need to, like, if it's going to be the winger pairing, I think it's going to be, they have to play well. Like, it's when you're seeing the performances of the guys behind you who are playing in the Cup and playing in the Champions League against Ajax and probably Carabao, I need you to perform, you know? You need to step up, because at some point the penny will drop with Maresca, the straw will break the camel's back, so to speak, and you're then going to get dropped. And if you get dropped and the guy who comes in is on form and he starts firing in the league, guess what, mate? You ain't playing again. Or you're playing 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. You're playing against Carabao and Napoli and Ajax and these type of teams. That's who you're playing against, because you couldn't perform in the league. So, yeah, like, they are the ones. I'd say the three behind the striker have the most to prove with the game against Spurs after the performance against Sunderland.
Fair enough. I haven't got a clue. That's the truth. If anyone's asking me to preview Tottenham, I haven't got a clue. Haven't got a Scooby. I won't even pretend I do. I've got a £10 bet on with someone I know who's a Tottenham fan. Do I have confidence I'm going to? Not really. But at the same time, anything can happen. This is if history repeats itself, we win this game, and that's what I'm riding off of. I'm riding off of history. I'm riding off of tradition. I'm riding off of the trend, and the trend leans our way. So if Chelsea was a stock, I would buy it for this game, and then I would dump, because it's not an upward hill, it's up down, as Father likes to say,
I'd
mate.
buy, and this is like definitely me speaking to it. I'd buy for the next 3 games. Next 3 games we should win. After the what's it called? After the international break is when I'd sell. The next 3 games we should win.
You keep buying. Fair enough, mate. It's a risky asset.
It is, but like we play Spurs, who we always beat. Carabao, who we're like.
Hey, Carabao beat Benfica, mate.
What?
Yeah. They beat Benfica.
Wait, they beat Jose Mourinho's Benfica as well.
No, they beat the one before.
Oh, they beat. Okay. Oh, was they? Oh, they might be who they beat to then sack him. Anyway, yeah. So that we should still beat them, and then we play Wolves again, and I think that might be away this time, isn't it? Or is it home?
Wolves is at home.
Oh, so we should win that game as well. Like that should be 3 wins. Then we have the international break, which would be good, and then we come back to Burnley, and then we have
Barcelona and Arsenal.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun, mate. We play good football against good teams. That's what I'm excited for.
The Barcelona game I'm really looking forward to be fair. That one I'm really looking forward to. Probably not. It's midweek, so probably not. It depends on if I'm on early shifts or not. Yeah. But yeah, the Barcelona game should be really good. The Arsenal game I'm not looking forward to at all.
Fair. Hey, man. Well, I think we're going to round out there, Scott. We've had a good chat, mate. We've had a good chat. And I know a lot of people are unhappy even though we won. I'd say just try and smile, guys. Just try. Give it a go. Trust me, when I'm not happy, you're going to know about it. But so far, I'm happy. I'm happy enough because we're through to the next round. It's as simple as that. I don't really know. You can pick these things apart as much as you want to. We won. We won. It wasn't pretty. Didn't look good. Wasn't convincing. Don't particularly feel confident that we're going to win one of the competitions playing that way. However, we managed to scrape our way to a final under Poch. You know, not playing well in a number of games. We can do the same thing with Maresca. But then you have to find something at the end of it. And maybe I'm not so confident we have whatever that takes to win that final game without conceding a silly goal or whatever it is. But we can definitely get to a final. Just not really sure if I have faith that we can hold on. I mean, we struggled as it is against a poor Wolves side.
Yeah. Especially second half.
Hey, Cardiff, man.
What do you think we didn't mention. Thank God, by the way. One team I wanted did not want a Premier League team. Thank the Lord.
Oh, that's great. Cardiff away could be tough. You never know, man. I'm pretty sure Swansea will win up against City at one point.
There they were 1-0 up. But yeah, we should still be Cardiff. They're in League One at the moment. I don't actually know where they are. League One.
They beat Wrexham. So it's not like they had to overcome anyone ridiculous.
They are. Wait, are they not in League One? I thought they were League One.
Yeah, they are League One, aren't they?
Oh, they're third. They are. They're third. We should still win.
It doesn't matter where they are in the league.
Just want to double check. But yeah, we should.
I am desperate to go to that. Well, fucking, of course, I'm going to the game. What am I talking about? When is that game? It's like the 17th of December or something. That's like 3 days before Newcastle away.
Cardiff. I think it's the 16th of. I think I saw. Versus Chelsea. Oh, yeah, 16th of December. So that's literally. So, I'm pretty sure that we play Newcastle on the 20th, don't we?
We play Newcastle on the 20th.
Yeah.
We get Everton on the 13th. So we have like 3 days in between.
Yes, we have Everton at home. We then got an away trip to Cardiff, and then 4 days later have an away trip to Newcastle at 12:30 in the morning. We've got an early kickoff.
I said to Lewis, are you going for that? He said, no, I'm not doing that one, Alex. I'm not doing that. He doesn't like an early kickoff.
Cardiff is a nice stadium. I remember going there under Sarri.
I'm talking about Newcastle.
Oh, Newcastle, yeah.
But fair play if he goes to Cardiff. Cardiff, mate, we had a good one against Cardiff. It wasn't pretty, but we got it done. Neil Warnock was fuming. I remember that one well. But it's just, You know, this kind of goes back to the injuries as well, Scott, because just makes me think that if our players are in this condition in December, we are fucked. We're screwed. Mate, if Caicedo gets injured in December and we've got no João Pedro, if the lap, whatever, doesn't recover properly, if we've got Reece James, Fofana, got to be careful with those guys. You can only play them once every 7 days. You got 3 fixtures a week, whatever it is. 2 fixtures at least.
Mm-hmm.
Who else have I forgotten?
Don't even remember.
Enzo Fernandez is tight. He can't run properly. Palmer's back end. Palmer's struggling to recover. It's a dark time. If it's like that, that's a very dark time. But hey, that's a very negative way to finish it off. I don't want to finish off like that. So listen, we finished with smiles, all smiles. Smash that like button if you haven't already, guys. Subscribe to the channel as well. We'll finish off just going through that poll as well. Finish off with that. So it's so far we have. I'm going to end the poll. 73% of you think that Gittens is a better player than Garnacho.
Well done.
27% of you think that Garnacho is a better player than Gittens. So Scott's a very happy man.
Well done. I'm impressed.
Hey, well, I think we'll leave it on that, guys. Big up to all of you. Really appreciate everyone that's watching. Big up to you as well, Scott. Good to have you on, mate. What time are you working tomorrow?
I'm working at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not too good. Not a massively early one, but yeah.
I got the day off for once, so
nice.
I'm loving life. I am, but I've just caught something, mate. I think I've got a bad throat. It's like I was going to go out, mate, but I don't know. I've got something. There's something going around at the moment. Anyway, big up to you, Scott. Thanks so much, mate. And we're going to leave it there. All the best, guys, and we will see you very